Dobro večer or hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we are going to be reviewing all of the contestants in this year's Dora 2025. Dora is back for quite a few years now, and they rebranded their national selection last year into two semifinals, and look just how it worked out for them. Last year, second place in Eurovision with Baby Lasagna. What did you guys think about this year's overall?
To be honest, I think even though my scores aren't especially high, I think it's a really strong selection. Um, and that's mostly just because of how authentic all the songs are. I think there's a nice diverse selection here, and I think a lot of the artists are being very genuine. They might not especially appeal to me, but I think there is a good range here.
I'm intrigued by your scores.
I've never really been a fan of Dora before, because, Balkan entries, as much as I love them, they usually go a little low on the scoreboard, which is a little unfair because not many people give them the chance. So I've always went with that judge and I that Balkan entries are always like, I wouldn't say bad, but they are overlooked. Luckily, that all changed in 2023 when Let 3 took me by storm with Mama Esce. And last year's Dora was one of the strongest editions I've ever seen. I couldn't really pinpoint a clear winner, and I'm sure that what Baby Lasagna did in 2024 marked the way for other artists to say, let's be more daring, let's do something unique, something fun. We can replicate this. We can go back to being a strong country. We are going to take the crown home again. We are not going to give up. And I really love that. I really love that they are daring to go with something different than past years, something more unique. And I don't know, I'm really, really glad I got to see all these songs because I met some of my new favorites, some of my new additions to my playlist, and I'm just very, very happy overall that Croatia has taken this small jump.
Honestly, to come back to what you said about like last year being one of the strongest, I think I kind of take it's a slightly different view. I'd say Baby Lasagna, like there was a reason he won by about 250 points. I'd say he was like absolutely killing the competition last year. This year, there's not really one standout, and I think that's absolutely fantastic because like every song is so different, and like every song brings something very different, and you can tell that they're written by the artist. This isn't just like a load of songs that have come out of the Swedish songwriting camp. There's weird rock, styles of rock in here. There's like non-radio friendly styles of psychedelic, really sort of like traditional stuff. Like it's just a joy to sort of listen to every song and see a different style and see that this artist has a big back catalogue and they're respected in their country. I think the real test is going to be next year when you see artists that perhaps saw Baby Lasagna's success and perhaps have a bit of time to put together like a really rounded package. I think we're getting there, but I'm really optimistic about this.
I'm just going to start by saying that I have watched every single Dora since 2005, and there were some pretty damn amazing songs in Dora over the years. And a lot of songs that actually didn't win ended up being like quite big hits in the region. And I feel that this is going to be.
And then there was Dia's "I Wanted to Fly" as well, which is, of course, the greatest national final song of all time.
Obviously not. Yeah, I feel that like that's going to be a similar case this year as well. There are some really amazing artists. There are some artists that I never actually imagined competing in Dora, which I'm really, really happy about. The overall quality is pretty good, but as Joe mentioned as well, there's no like specific standout as there was one last year. However, the thing that I don't like is that there are actually quite a few songs written from, as Joe said, Swedish songwriting camps. So I could have lived without them.
There are 24 songs, like the proportion's going to be small.
Yeah, but still. I could have lived without them, but yeah, we'll get to that anyways. Let's start then with the first song, and that's going to be Enigma, performed by Irma. Bea.
Well, I think this is one of the songs I like the most. I like how simple the MV was with only her singing because it emphasized like the power of this ballad. I've never been a very big ballad fan, but I think that this is how you do ballads right. She's got a lot of feeling to the song. She put her whole soul into it, and you can notice it. And bonus points for being Croatian, because I'm always a big fan of countries sending songs in their native languages. I mean, songs in English are not bad, but when a song is in your native language, my singing teacher used to tell me, they can reach your heart a little better, and they can connect with people a little better, with people from your country, of course. And I think that Enigma, no matter what language it is, and just reaches the hearts of people by being itself, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful song, really.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. This is quite a nice, genuine ballad. I think it's the structure of it is quite predictable. You know where it's going to go from the start, but it's a good melody. It's a very pleasing song to listen to. I don't know if it will stand out enough to really compete, but I'm pretty sure this will make the final, probably come top 10, possibly top 5. Yeah, it's a good song. I just wish it was a little bit more original.
Well, let's put that into points. Bea,
I put 7 out of 10 for Enigma.
Isaac,
6.
Joe.
I mean, I'm giving this a 9. The lip filler is the only thing that is stopping this from being a 10, to be honest.
Wow. I'm way less generous. For me, this is going to be a 5. It's very middle of the road for me.
Come on.
Sorry, Bea.
I feel like this is going to be we're going to be hearing this a lot.
Probably. Well, let's continue with Marko Škugor and Šta da Boga, molim ja. Joe.
That was a. Can you say the title of that song again? That sounded amazing.
Šta da Boga, molim ja.
Yay.
I mean, I
Thank you.
speak the language, so.
Of course, yeah. And like, I mean, what I will say, like, just to come back to that, like, I think there is a lot to be said for like people who speak the language and people who don't, because I feel like you're gonna pick us up on stuff where like you know what they're saying, and you're gonna tell us, oh, this is really cringe, or this is overplayed. Where
I can
just
take your
hear,
job a little bit, digging more into the lyrics than you normally do.
oh yeah, no, I'm the lyrics man, yeah, fair. But I mean, for starters, this guy's a big deal. Like, he has many songs that are like into the millions on YouTube. Like, I mean, I've never heard of him, so he's clearly not thrown out the Balkans. But
You've
he
seen
will.
him before.
I've seen him before. What, has he
Yes.
been in like an advert or something?
He competed in Eurovision. He was a member of Klapa Smora in 2013.
You know, right? This is annoying. I just found out a few days ago. Like, we recorded the Grease video like about a week ago. I literally just found out that one of them represented Cyprus about 3 times, and nobody brought it up. Like, I just say, oh, it sounds a bit like a Balkan ballad, and like it just never mentioned. Like, they're going to be screaming that in the comments. We need to do our jobs better. Thank you for
Bad
that,
fan,
Ogenj.
Joe.
So yeah, so back to the song in hand. I mean, maybe it's not for ESC, but it is a lovely Balkan ballad. It is a lovely, it's a guy singing about his feelings. There are sort of Christian undertones, and I think there are like, you get that a lot with this genre. And like, I think it was Tim Minchin who said, sometimes the hymns that they sing have nice chords, but the lyrics are dodgy. But I'd like to say the music video is a bit sort of Papyrus 2010, like Microsoft Word processing, which I find very endearing. It's like the sort of thing that you see like on a loop, like maybe in a Croatian church as a tourist attraction, which I find really endearing. And also there's no key change. So in my book, it's a very well composed song. I really like it.
See, the way that I saw this was you can take a guy out of a klapa, but you cannot take the klapa out of a guy, because it's very Balkan, and it feels like it really was written for Eurovision and for Dora. And at the same time, it feels like this would have done so much better, let's say in Eurovision 2005 rather than 2025. The song is still quite powerful, and as we already heard him sing in Eurovision, we know how he sings, so he's going to be vocally completely on point without a single doubt. I just wonder what he's actually going to bring onto the stage in Opati and how he's going to do his stage performance. I think that, like, in a way, this could go quite big on the night. depending on the performance, obviously. And I wouldn't completely rule it out, as this type of songs normally gets a lot of votes in Dora through the televoting. If we look at the history of Dora, Klapa never won Dora, obviously, but they were always like very, very high in the rankings. And back in the day, you were ranking the songs, and each and every song got points depending on like which place they ranked in. This time it's different. So as it's going to be percentages, I think that this is why I don't really rule him out. Whether the juries are going to go for it or not, that's another question. But yeah, overall very nice, but maybe a bit old-fashioned. Out of 10, Joe.
I've also given this a 9.
I gave this a 7. There,
A 6 out of 10.
Isaac,
5.
27 for Marko as well. Swingers are next with Ful Kul. Isaac.
Yeah, I think this is clearly the worst song that we have here. It's easy to see why this is one of the backup entries. It's just bad in every way, really. I can't see anyone voting for this. I can't see getting any jury support. I think this will probably come last. It's just annoying. It's catchy in a really annoying way. It's so dated. And it's extremely repetitive as well. You've heard the first minute, you've heard the whole song. It doesn't do anything remotely interesting. Even the video is just kind of cringy. It's just like animated backdrops of scenic areas, and then he just says "Ful Kul" like 100 times. I don't know. It's not for me. I think this isn't good.
Honestly, I think like the more I read comments from other people about this song and I look on Eurovision World and just see that star ticker just plummeting, like the more I just think like I have spent too long in that sort of like, you know, cesspool of like kids learning how to play instruments, that this kind of music just doesn't really have that effect on me. I've just learned to love this style of like really cheesy swing, or like, you know, somebody trying to like approximate this sort of really sort of cheesy sort of, I want to say 50s like sort of backroom style of, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but like this guy has been in the game for a long time. The guy who wrote this song has been in the game for a long time. Like he's written virtually every genre. So like, of course we were going to expect something weird from him. Like it's kind of it's a melding of like, there is a bit of novelty in there, but it is also like a very familiar style. The music sounds like it could be written in like the 50s or in like 2050. And then you couple that with like really modern themes in the lyrics, which, yes, it is a group of old men talking about like young influencers online, which is, yeah, it could play a little bit weird if it doesn't click. But like, honestly, I'm in dark horse phase for this one. I think if they have fun on stage, and they're all going to look amazing, like in their, you know, big yellow jackets with shoulders for days and like, you know, swinging their double basses around. I honestly, I think this song has an audience, and I'm ashamed to say that I'm that audience.
Are you their audience, Isaac? Out of 10?
3.
Joe?
It's an 8, and I regret that so much.
I second Isaac. It's a 3. Bear?
Well, this song reminded me a lot of my favorite band ever, Joker Out. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. This has a lot of Joker Out's new sound from its new album, Souvenir Pop, specifically
think I've
from a
heard
song
that.
called Música za Decu.
There we go. Go with your gut. I needed a reason. I need to listen to Joker Out.
I would never compare Swingers to Joker Out, but fine. 21 points for them. We'll continue with Luka Nižetić and the song Južina. And as I mentioned, like I watched Dora since 2005. Luka Nižetić has been in Dora quite a few times, and I loved almost all of his entries. And I was really happy to see that like he was back once again. This is another great song of his, but it doesn't beat the song that he had called Pusti me u san. Južina has a really good rhythm. It has like a very nice Croatian touch to it as well, which I think is amazing. And it's also very like, how to say, like breezy, if that's the word and if that makes sense. Like I don't know, like I'd happily have this one on like whenever and sing along to it as well. And even though I don't feel like it's that strong for Eurovision, it's still a great song. I just wish that the video clip was not reminding me that much of Little Big. And I'm a little bit worried because he mentioned that he's going to transmit or basically try to recreate his video clip onto the stage as well. So I'm a bit worried about how that's going to look like. But at the same time, I'm excited to see how that's going to look like. And we all know it's going to sound great. But yeah,
You know, what you just said about the music video is exactly the one thing that I like about the song. I like how quirky it is, how unique, how strange it is, because I've always been a very big fan of wacky Eurovision entries, like those songs that you have to say, hear me out for everyone to understand you. And I think that this video checks all the boxes. The song
you should
is
check some
not
other Little Big videos then as well.
this song is like it's fine. I think there are better songs in the Dora selection, but I think that this is pretty decent. I think it's pretty nice and easy to listen to, which I really appreciate. I like the contrast of how chaotic the video is compared to the music and the song. And yeah, I can't wait to see him on stage.
I do think there is an element of chaos in the lyrics. I mean, I think I'd have to defer to the Balkan speakers for like translation of what he's actually satirizing. But yeah, it references a lot of Eurovision songs like Doris Dragovic and Moja
Yeah.
Stickler and Samo mi se spava, which happen to be some of my favorites. So I'm on board with this.
He also sings about like the winds blowing from the south. That's the song title. So
Okay. It's probably
let's
a
score it out of
metaphor for
10.
something.
Yeah, let's score it out of 10. I'm going to kick this off with an 8. Bea,
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Isaac,
I think this is perfect for Eurovision, and I really hope he just brings the music video to the stage. I think this could be a contender. I'm giving it 8.
Joe,
I'm giving this a 9. I just love 9.
we have a new leader. Luka Nižetić scores 31. Next up, we're going to have Marko Tolja with Through the Dark. Joe,
Ugh, I mean, it's going to be difficult to even get a minute out of this one. Like I had high hopes for this, like given it was written by former winner of Dora and former friend of the podcast, Mia Dimšich. But you know, I then remembered why, you know, I thought what I did about the song that she eventually sent to Eurovision. You know, he's competed twice at Dora in the noughties. Please tell me if he's been to Eurovision and I have no idea. Because it turns out there's a high possibility that that could be the case at this stage. But yeah, his style, it seems, has not moved on since the noughties. It's very sort of X Factor audition crossed with like one of those sort of like soppy musical theatre, like student vocals who are trying to be Josh Groban, but like barely sell any albums at Christmas. Like, you know, the only way I can see this getting through in a national final where like a man singing a lovely song in his native language is just going to cut through. It's his voice. You know, that's really the only thing that's helping him out here. There's very sort of Vasil's Here I Stand came to mind. Like that's the sort of level that we're talking on here. It runs out of steam after the first 2 minutes, just like this thought.
out of 10, Joe.
It's a 5.
It's a 5 for me as well. Bea,
I give it a 6 out of 10 too.
Isaac,
Yeah, I agree with Joe. It sounds like Here I Stand. It's a 5.
21 for Marko Tolja. We'll continue with Jelena, Radan, and Salut. Isaac,
Yeah, so this is an interesting one. This song does stand out. There's nothing else like this here at all, and I think that's a good thing. But I really don't like it as a song. I'm kind of appreciate the fact that it's here. It's giving us something different, like the grand orchestration, the fact that it's all in French. But just being in French doesn't make it a better song. And I think people are so fixated on the point that it's in French. It's like, okay, it's still not a great song, you know. It doesn't even sound like she's singing. It's just like she's talking the whole way through and telling us like a bedtime story. There's no real hook in this song, and it doesn't really get going. It's very stop-starty the whole way through. So I don't know. I can see this having some fans, but I just think it's French. It's a bit. It doesn't do a lot, but it
I
does
just
sound
think it's
different.
French.
Yeah,
I get
that's the top comment on everything I see about this.
you. I just think French.
Yeah, not for me.
Score it out of 10, Isaac.
3.
Joe?
Mate from Let 3 should know better. This is getting a 2.
Wow. I'm a little bit more generous. Like, it wasn't bad, but I just don't really get it entirely. And also, I don't like the slightly broken French. So for me, this is a 5. Bear?
Yeah, I give it a 4 out of 10 because it doesn't make sense to me. Why would you send us something French to represent Croatia if French is not a
Why not?
language spoken in Croatia? It's
Why,
weird.
Zoe?
I mean,
Why?
Cyprus did it.
yeah,
Why wouldn't Croatia?
I could have forgiven a song that was in Serbian or Slovenian because it made sense, or even in English because they always sing songs in English. But why French? It doesn't really make sense for a song from a non-French speaking country to be represented by a song that is in French entirely. It doesn't make sense.
This
I
proves
don't
my
like it.
point. The most interesting thing about it is the fact it's in French.
Let's continue with Ananda and Lies Cold. And I'll start by saying that I have absolutely no idea who Ananda is. I never heard of her before, so I had no idea what to expect. Now Joe is going to tell me that she's been to Eurovision.
Well, she's written 3 songs, so I wouldn't put it past her to have done it in another life.
You never know. But yeah, I was actually positively surprised about this one. If she's vocally as strong as she sounds in the video clip, then I feel that like this could actually be like pretty damn good. The song has like a nice amount of drama in it. It builds up really nicely and then withdraws in a way a little bit, like before the final belt out, which is very nice. Some parts of the melody actually reminded me of Avril Lavigne's I'm With You, and that sort of gave me like a nice throwback. Overall, like, I quite enjoyed this song. I don't think that she's going to win with this, but I just hope that she does well and that she's going to be back in Dora again next year or in 2 years' time with something even better when she's actually going to be up there for the win. And with saying that, I'm going to score this one with a 7. Bea?
I gave it a 5 out of 10. It's a nice ballad, but then again, I'm not a big ballad person. So yeah.
Isaac?
Yeah, this is another one where I can see why this is popular, but it's just not for me. It's a 5.
Joe?
I've given it an 8.
25 points for Ananda then. We continue with Petar Brkljačić and the song Kraj. Bea?
I think it was a very, very dramatic song. Another one of the many dramatic songs that we have this year. And the video was also very edgy, very cool, very dramatic. I mean, it's an entry in Croatian. It's always appreciated. It is a nice song and it hooks me. Like it makes me just stay there and listen to the whole thing because there's something drawing me to it. And I love drama. I love a good drama song. This being said, I think that it will get drowned out by other songs in Dora. But, in its genre, definitely shines.
Out of 10?
I ranked it as 6 out of 10.
Isaac?
This video just annoys me because he's got the really cool LED cube, and I'm like, what's going to happen? And nothing happens. It's a 5.
Joe?
It's like Tia Coffee's reveal. It's not a reveal. I was going to say he's miniaturized Farid Mammadov's box. I just want a little tiny dancer in it. Tiny dancer. No, I can't pronounce his name, and I don't think much of the song. He's getting a 5.
For me, this is going to be a 6. And that's 22, if I'm not wrong. Marko Bošnjak is next with Poison Cake. Bea, let's start with you for this one as well.
This one was a very interesting one because I see the edginess. I see 80s British punk shining through, like a very dramatic singer strutting on stage with makeup and a very big wig on, and just this diva ambience and everything. And it was amazing to imagine that. And I like how sensual the song feels and how you know that this is going to be a great show. However, I do think that there are bigger things that are going to drown out this song. It's like you're waiting for something to happen in the chorus, which doesn't happen. And you're waiting for it to crescendo at some part of the song. And for me, it didn't really deliver that. But I commend it for the vibes. The vibes are immaculate, and I really love them. I really, really love them. They're just what I want.
I know someone on this call who cannot get enough of cake. And yeah, and knows all of the best cake places in Budapest. Yeah, they'll probably shout them out in the comments. But yeah, this can be summed up by I think one of the greatest sentences that has ever been uttered on television. Started making it, had a breakdown, bon appetit, and my goodness, we are having a bon appetit with this song. It is like a bake-off special with Luke Black and Kyron Thrax and Hatari, and just like there's just like cream flying everywhere. It's brilliant. You know, look at this line. You thought I was your servant slave, but I'm just a serpent snake. Like, who writes that? This has come from, well, it's come from the great minds of Ben Pine and Emma Gale, if you were wondering, but it is an absolute chef's kiss. Unconventional structure, goth pop, like there's a lot that it's very different. If you remember Molin's Anas, this is a very different song. And like, I mean, these guys have got writer credits all over the national finals. They're probably going to get one at Eurovision. It could be this one. He's a very charismatic performer. I have high hopes for Marko. Bring me that cake. I want like what we wanted from Natalia Gordienko's Sugar, but like actually I want take that, do what you like. I want jelly all over me. I want a good time.
Bam, out of 10.
Well, I give this a 6 out of 10.
Isaac,
It's overrated. It's trying too hard. It's a 5.
Joe,
It's like a smidgen off a 10. I'd give it a 9. There's one that is better than this, but by a very small margin.
I love Molly Zanas. I love cake, but I don't like at all this messy poison cake. For me, this is a 5. And that gives Marko 25 points, which ties him with Ananda for 4th place right now. Luka Nižetić is still in the lead. Let's see what happens next. Next one is going to be Ogenj with Die Die. The first reason, like why this song stood out for me, is because this song is entirely in the, I hope I pronounce this correctly in English, in the Kajkavian dialect, which is not that widely spoken in Croatia. Apart from that, I love how they play with different instruments and different music styles in this song, because like it's a little bit rock, but it's also at the same time it's ethnic. It has hints of punk, and when you put it all together, somehow it works. The chorus, as well as most parts of the song, it's a tad too repetitive for me, as they just keep repeating Ogenj die die Ogenj die. But at the same time, that makes it easy to sing along to. It's, in my opinion, one of the strongest songs in this competition. And what I feel is not in their favor is that they're going against so many well-known acts when they're on like the more unknown side, let's say. However, I feel it like with the right staging, and if they manage to bring the energy the song requires onto the stage as well, I think that anything can happen. I, for one, really like this one, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to look on stage and sound as well.
Yeah, I think this stands out in terms of the genre of the song. We haven't really got anything else like this. I like the video. It's a bit of fun. And I do think that on stage it will look pretty good. My worry is, like you said, it's just way too repetitive. I think the first sort of 30, 40 seconds, I thought I was going to really like this. But it just repeats that chorus line so many times. And it doesn't even change it at the end. It's literally the same melody repeated 1,000 times. I think I said that for another song earlier, but for that, it just completely killed this song for me. Yeah, that's the only reason. Otherwise, I think it's not bad. It's just so repetitive.
I think you said that for Swingers, and I think that's the only time anybody is going to compare those two songs.
Well, let's stick with Die Die. For me, this is going to be a 9 out of 10. Bea?
I give it an 8 out of 10.
Isaac?
Four.
Joe?
Yeah, fire. This is getting a 9.
30 points for Ogenj, which means they're in second place. Matt Shaft is up next with Welcome to the Circus. Isaac.
Shaft.
Yep.
Sorry, I had to.
Oh, this song, I don't even know where to start. It,
Is it a circus?
the first time I heard this, I thought, okay, this is quite good. I'm going to listen to it again. And every time I listen to it, I just find that violin hook so depressing. It's like, it's not upbeat, it's not enjoyable. It's just like, it does it over and over again. I don't know. I like the verses of this song. I'm glad that they have like a visual identity, but I don't know. The violin hook, I don't like at all. And also, I don't think that this is ripping off Baby Lasagna, but I know that loads of people are going to make that comparison because the chorus starts with a very similar whoa, whoa, whoa. And I just, I don't think that's going to work in their favor. You shouldn't send a song that does that the year after you finally, come second. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting one, but don't like the violin hook. People are going to compare it to Baby Lasagna. I don't think this stands a chance.
You know, I'm very, very into artists like Voltaire and IMX. So this song really hit a spot for me, and I love a good creepy circus aesthetic. I'm a very big horror fan, so seeing the creepy circus aesthetic thrown into this video and into the whole, content of the song, it just touched a vibe in my heart that I cannot ignore. It's a very nice song. It's very easygoing. It's certainly going to my playlist for reading horror books because I have one of those. I also love the violin a lot. I think this is nice, but I know in my heart that this if this goes to Eurovision, it can either fall to the ground deep into the underworld and be forgotten and not qualify, or it can go high, seeing at how Bambi Thug did last year. And that unpredictability makes me a little worried, to be honest. But if it was for me, I'd totally sing this song.
Out of 10 for Matt. Isaac.
Four.
Joe?
It's 7 for Possessed Alexander Rybak.
For me, it's going to be a 6. Bea?
I gave it a 7 out of 10.
That is 24 points for Matt Shaft. Marin is next with Gorile. Joe?
Well, I don't know about you, Irvin, but I outgrew my clothes, but I stayed a boy. That is true to life, but also it's the opening line to this song. So there is a very, again, I feel like one of the only people that will really back this one. Like, there's a very calming, nostalgic rock sound that's kind of reminiscent of like REM album tracks, or like sort of like the Get What We Give by New Radicals, kind of the rock that, like the soft rock that I grew up on, that kind of touches a nerve with me. And like, I know that people are saying like, oh, he was so good on The Voice, he needs a better song. And a part of me does think that, it's not one of those songs that's gonna, cut through any Eurovision event. It's nice to listen to on a playlist. They're not gonna like it because there's no fireworks, there's no natural crescendo. Like, the music video is just him constantly falling down a hole, which I think is brilliant. But I will be listening to this a lot. He also had a reluctant favorite of mine in Navino at Dora 2020. I am going to make a very bold prediction that this will come 14th in the final. It's that kind of song.
That's very specific. See, Marin has already competed in Dora in the past. And with this entry, like, I don't know, this type of like very simple pop rock track normally does nothing for me. And I don't feel like this song is developing really into anything. It remains pretty flat the entire time, and at the same time, it reminds me of some like very old ex-Yugoslav movie soundtracks, or like songs that would be played like during the credits. And partly because of that, probably I don't see this song as competitive at all, and pretty sure that this song is in a way just like a filler. And for a filler, to be honest, like they could have come up with something a lot worse as well. So at least I'm happy it's this. and not that something else.
At least it's not Vodu Piti Trizambiti.
Yes. Way
Remember
better
that
than
old
that.
chestnut.
I actually like that song.
Of course you did. Out of 10 for Gorille. Joe.
7.
Well, for me, it's going to be a 4. Bea,
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Isaac,
I like the video, don't like the song. It's a 3.
20 points for Marin. As we're halfway through, let's take a look at the top of our scoreboard. Luka Nižetić is currently in the lead with 31 points, followed by Ogenj in second place with 30. Marko Škugor and Irma are tied for third place with 27, and Marko Bošnjak completes our top 5 with 25 points. Let's continue with the next song, and that's going to be Aurora, performed by Teenah. Bea.
This is my lowest ranked song. Out of everything, this is my lowest ranked song. I don't like it. I frankly do not like anything about it. I think it tries to be like this ethereal, haunting song that, with like those vibes you get when you are ascending into heaven, like literally and metaphorically, but it fails. It terribly fails at doing that. Her voice, for me, it's nothing special. And the song is horribly slow. And, as I've said many times, ballads are not my thing. And this is exactly why. Because, there's nothing exciting about this song. And I don't think anything can fix it for me.
Score it out of 10 then, Bea.
Yeah, I scored it 5 out of 10.
Isaac,
4.
Joe,
Just like to give a shout out to friends of ESCBubble, Ilva and Linda. We love what you're doing. It's a 7 from me.
Ilva and Linda had some much better songs over the other national selections, I feel. This is going to be only a 4 for me. Sorry. Next up, we have Martha May with Running to the Light. Isaac.
Yeah, this isn't bad. It's quite a decently made track. The production in it is interesting, and it does build. It just builds very slowly. The main thing that annoys me about it when I first watched this was the music video. I just feel like it's like a university project. It's very amateur compared to some of the other ones we've got, which distracted me, I will be honest. But no, it's not a bad song. I just feel like we have other better sort of similar songs in this selection. It's not like a ballad in the way that we have 4 or 5 others, but it is going to be grouped in with the other ballads, even though the production is more interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really show much of a vocal range either. It's quite a safe song to go with. Yeah, not much more to say really. Pleasant, but won't do particularly well.
Out of 10,
5.
Joe.
This is getting a 5 from me, though. Sorry, Martha.
It's a 5 for me as well. Bea.
Well, I gave it a 7. I don't know what it is, but I like it so much. It's stuck to my brain for like an hour after hearing it.
22 points for Martha May. Next up, we have Supersonic Trio with Animal. I like the idea that the songwriters had when they wanted to create this song, and when they like tried to create a rock song that would probably be accessible to everyone and title it Animal because it goes kind of a little bit like with rock music. I don't know. However, this is where I feel they got completely lost, as they made it a little bit way too simple, and the song just lacks energy. The singer is not bringing this energy with his voice. Musically also, it's just not there. When I feel that the song should explode in the chorus and that like it should make an even bigger bang, like just before the final chorus, it just doesn't happen, and it just fails to do that every single time. As I mentioned at the start as well, like I feel like the idea behind it was good, but the execution of it was extremely average, and for that reason, this is going to be a 5 out of 10 for me. Bea?
I'm giving it a 6 out of 10, and I'm being pretty generous.
Isaac?
Yeah, the music video for this makes me laugh, and I don't think it's meant to. It's a 4.
Joe?
Yeah, it's really funny. When I heard this for the first time, I thought Irvin's going to rave about this one and I'm going to have to disappoint him. But like, I think if anything, we've kind of clicked on this one. I'm giving it a 6 as well.
You should know me better by now, Joe.
It's got guitars, it's got tigers, I've been in a car with you. It's just tigers in the back seat.
You never heard a song like this in a car with me. I gotta say that. 21 points for Supersonic Trio. Next up, we have Fenksta with Extra. Joe.
So before I review this one, I just need to have a minute's silence for our fallen queen, Natalia Balmix, who tragically was disqualified from this selection despite having the best song in it. Which, yeah, disappointed about that, but also a minute's a bit long, so we've got to race through this. So this is our second reverse entry after reverse entry. It's our second reserve entry after Swingers. Thank you. I mean, you can't forgive the Natalia Balmix thing, but honestly, of those two, weirdly given the score, that I think retroactively I kind of like this one more. I think it's kind of like this weird tribute to like standing out and not acting your age thing that does kind of click with me the more I listen to it. And I think also, like Swingers, the fact that it sounds really dated, but the lyrics are very modern and that adds a lot of flavor to it. And it just reminds you of how diverse the Croatian music scene. You can be in your 40s and throw on a grey onesie and spit some bars and you come out with this. I think that's absolutely brilliant. You get celebrated for that in the biggest music competition in the country. It might feel a bit empty on stage given how limited the clip track is. Like, I think that's been the case with a lot of rap songs in national folk. Like Bishbu was a bit of a victim of that in Festival de Cancel last year, so he's going to need to sell the hell out of this. But he's there, and whether or not he should be there, you can argue about in the comments, but, we have to review his song.
True. Thanks out of 10. Joe.
Giving this a 6.
See, I feel like there's a reason why this one and why Swingers were backup entries. I'm giving this a 3. There.
Yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Isaac.
Honestly, I do kind of like this, and if it wasn't for that, I'd probably give it like a 1. But because I sort of like it, I've given it a 4.
Okay. Well,
It's an
18
interesting
points.
scale you've got there.
Yeah. 18 points for Fenksta, which puts him in second to last place. EOT are next with Bye Bye Bye. Joe.
Sibling pair in the band, how I feel about when brothers and sisters get together and write music. I find it slightly creepy, a la twins, and there are more obvious examples, but it just is a bit of an ick for me. Just imagine the backroom conversations for a start. This has some very Elastica style sort of female rock folk, like very garbage sort of stuff that you'd hear at the end of the 90s. But essentially, there is a lot that I would probably like about this. It is quite a sort of electro rocky song, but I just find it a bit too jarring. The backing track is not. It doesn't click. It's quite messy. There's room for warming to this song in a live performance, and I could easily eat my words if they sell this on stage. But this kind of like female-led punk rock, I think, has been done better elsewhere. I'm looking at Megara. I'm looking at a whole heap of bands that have been in mellow in the last few years, But they're having fun.
If I had a nickel for every song named Bye 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 that I like, I will have 3, which is not very much, but it's very strange that it happens twice. But yeah, I really like this song.
But this is one of the
hits me
3.
in the right spots. Yeah, because we have NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, then we have Morning's Bye Bye Bye, which is a DJ, and then we have this song, which I really, really liked. I can see why people like it. I'm a sucker for electronic entries because I grew up with electronic music, so I'm naturally gravitated towards them. And I think this is very nice. I like the repetition of the chorus, and I like how everything sounds musically. I do think is room for improvement in some aspects, but they can easily be fixed. So if they pick this to go to Eurovision, I think they would do rather well. So yeah, I really liked it.
Out of 10 for Bye Bye Bye. Joe.
I've given this a 4. I'm sorry, it just didn't click.
I was a bit more generous. I gave it a 6. Bea?
Yeah, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Isaac?
I think this is great. I gave it an 8.
Okay.
Is that the first time you've given the highest score?
Probably.
Yeah, that's true.
Finally, we found his level.
Yeah. 25 points for EOC. Next up, we have Ivxn with Monopol. Isaac.
Yeah, speaking of me giving the highest score, I think this is fantastic. I think this is
Oh, God.
this is clearly the best song they've got. At the start, when everyone said there's not a clear winner, I disagree. I think this is the clear winner. They have to go with this. This is just fantastic. It perfectly straddles that line between your traditional Balkan ballad and the contemporary, more sort of upbeat banger. It's just fantastic. I think from the very first second, it grabs your interest and it keeps you there for the entire song. I think the key change is perfect. It's memorable, it's anthemic. It's one of the catchiest songs we've had so far this year. If this gets picked, which I think it should do, I reckon this will come top 5 at Eurovision. That's my prediction. Yeah, it's easily one of the best songs of the year. And I think most people seem to agree.
I'm not most people. And I think you should go and listen to some Balkan music.
It's like he's not going to agree.
I'm really sorry, but I'm nowhere near as impressed as Isaac was. And to be perfectly honest, like the only explanation I find for the hype for this song is that it just sounds so Swedish. And yes, one of the songwriters is Swedish.
Written by Andreas Björkman.
Yeah. And I actually went and checked who wrote Mariette's 1,000 Years, because there are some parts of this song that resemble Mariette's song so much.
Sorry,
But it's not the
1,000,000
same.
years or
Yes.
1,000 years?
1,000,000 years, yeah. But did I say 1,000?
No, 1,000 years is Christina Perry.
Oh, yeah. No, I meant 1,000,000
No,
years.
not a Mellow song.
Definitely Mariette. Yeah, basically, like the hook that the song tries to have, I feel it isn't strong enough. The beats of it are quite all right, but overall, just for me, this does not work. I understand, and I'm glad that a lot of fans love it. It's definitely not for me, and sorry, Isaac, but I doubt that this has even a shot at winning. Out of 10, Isaac.
As long as he can sing this live, this is definitely going to win. This is a 9.
Okay, Joe.
Swedish influence notwithstanding, plus key change, and also Ananda co-wrote it because she can. I've given this an 8. I quite like it.
5. Ma'am?
You know, I really, really love this song. I think it's fantastic. I think he's gonna smash it on stage. So yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
All right. 30 points for Ivxn, which ties him for second place with Ogenj. 6 songs to go, and the next one is Znak, performed by Nipplepeople. Joe.
This is the one, Croatia. Right after Isaac raved about Ivxn, I'm now going to rave about Nipplepeople. Honestly, when I first heard this song, like I was just transported like to another dimension, another planet. Like I knew these guys were a big deal, but like this isn't like your usual Euro house fair. This is like the primogenesis of everything that we think of Eurovision as now. Like, you know, there's elements of like Kraftwerk's Tour de France in there. There's a lot of German prog synth sound that you get. Like, I got into Jean-Michel Jarre during the Olympics. Like, you know, it sounds like somebody's physically like turning like a load of cranks and knobs on a massive machine rather than just putting it into a computer, which, let's face it, they're probably doing. Technology's, you know, moved on since the 80s, but like it's so psychedelic and like alternative, but like it just really worked. Like I love the album cover where they've like just printed all the lyrics on it. So like, you know, I'm on my commute and I'm just following it along. Like, you know, it has this like music video that it like has the potential to put children in hospital, which I think is just like pure rock and roll that Eurovision just does not. have enough of. Their visual style's really intriguing. Like they make me think of like early Jamiroquai, like with the face stuff, and like I have no idea what to expect from this on stage. But I think if you're looking for something authentic and something that is going to show off your country's music scene, like proven music scene, this is the perfect entry.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is great. Once you get over the epilepsy-inducing video, which honestly, after I watched that, I needed a minute just to get my eyes relaxed. Honestly, once you get over that, this is a really good song. The groovy sort of electro production, like you say, Kraftwerk, it's a good comparison. I honestly thought I was going to be the only person who liked this. When I saw that this had it's quite popular, I was surprised. If they did go with this, it wouldn't sound like anything else at Eurovision. I think we can be pretty sure of that. I haven't done any research into the contestants, so I've got no idea why they're called Nipplepeople. I think this wasn't the vibe I was expecting based on the artist name when I heard the song.
You think he's something more like Let Three?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how well this would do at Eurovision if it made it there, but it seems like it's got a good shot at Dora. People like it. Yeah, the name alone is going to bring them recognition if it does get picked. You can see that being picked up by the media. Yeah, I think this is a really good song. It doesn't sound anything else, and the production is fantastic.
Nipplepeople have been around for like over 15 years, and they're actually one of the most well-known acts in this lineup, but no one knows who they are. They always have something over their heads whenever they perform. They don't give interviews, they don't speak to people, but they
So
perform literally
they're the Daft
everywhere.
Punk of Croatia.
Basically, yeah.
It gets even better.
Yeah. Anyways, let's score them out of 10. Joe.
It's nipples or bust. It's a 10.
For me, it's going to be an 8. There.
Yeah, this is an 8 for me too. I just love the weirdness that surrounds it and the whole aura. Just by being named Nipplepeople, you have my vote. So yeah.
Isaac.
Honestly, before we did this review, I thought I was going to get the highest score. Somehow I've got the lowest score. It's a 7.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Still puts Nipplepeople into first place. 33 points. Next up, we're going to have Lelek with The Soul of My Soul. There.
I don't know what to think about this song, really. I think it's nice. It sounds like exactly the song I would be drawn to because something about it feels like walking in the woods at night with only the moon guiding you. It's very poetic, I know, but that's how this song feels. It feels like being transported to another plane. I don't know. There's something very, very magic, very soul-touching about this song. I don't know how it would fare in Eurovision, but I think that Croatians are going to love it. They're going to eat it up. It's one of the strongest ballads they have this year. So yeah, I think it's nice, but I don't know. Not for me.
I agree with you when you say that this is one of the strongest songs and like one of the strongest ballads, definitely. I love how like the song starts very slow, sort of like a lullaby. It's quite mysterious, but then like it picks up and builds up like very quickly. And what I love in particular in this song is the ethnic singing, which I didn't really think it could work that well in English, but in this particular song, it really works well for me. The harmonies work amazingly, making the song and like especially the chorus really, really powerful. Overall, I think that like this is going to be one of the performances I'm most looking forward to seeing in this year's Dora. And if it's as strong visually, I'm pretty sure that like my eyes are going to be glued to the TV for those 3 minutes. I really love it. It's one of my top favorites in this year's Dora, and I really hope that they do well. Out of 10, Bea.
Yeah, I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Isaac.
We get songs like this every year, and people always love them. And I think this is one of the weaker ones. This is a 6.
Joe.
I was disappointed from the point where they tried to rhyme bone with on. It's getting a 6.
Well, for me, this is going to be a 9. And that's 27 points for Lelek. Filomena is up next with Strong. Bea.
Yeah, this song has a very distinct feeling, which is it's obvious they try to do like a gospel song, like the kind of song that you hear when you go to the church and stuff. And the aesthetic also of the video also gives that feel. This being said, I've never been like a very big fan of gospel songs or of church songs. I don't know. They are not it for me. I can respect people who like it. I have nothing against religion or anything. My mom is a Christian herself, and she listens to a lot of church songs. But for me, I think that within this genre, it's going to be one of the weakest songs. I do commend her for having such a nice voice. She's got a very powerful voice, and I love the intensity she puts into it. But I don't know. I don't think this is gonna do well.
I don't think it's going to do well, but I mean, between this and Swingers, I'm just very worried about why I like this one as much as I do. Like, we're back in the church, we're back with mum. Like, I should not like this as much as I do, but it really reminds me, and this is such a specific feeling that I get from it. It's like when like the Spice Girls all started to go solo, and like one of them had an album that was all right and had that like really nice song about their daughter on the album that like did nothing, but like if you had the album, you knew about it and you really liked it. It's kind of a bit sort of Martine McCutcheon's Perfect Moment. It's like, oh, the world's gone wrong, but my mum loves me and that's okay sort of vibes. And I'm fairly okay with that. I don't think it should win. I don't want it to win, but it's clearly written with a lot of heart. And I think there's a lot to be said for like just having one writer and it being the songwriter, where you think there's going to be a key change, she goes into Croatian. And I'm like, that's very nice composition there. I think this is a little gem.
The amount of times swingers are getting mentioned in this video.
You're going to have to pay them at the end of this.
Yeah, apparently.
For
We're their
you
number one
guys not
supporters.
liking swingers that much, you're surely pronouncing their name
know,
a lot in this video.
It's Joe.
It's a funny name. It's not Nipple
Joe.
People, but it is funny. I'm over here.
A shot every time swinger's name is mentioned at this point.
Yeah. If you're playing along at home.
Back to Filomena, out of 10. Bea,
Yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Isaac,
6.
Joe.
7.
I'm not a fan of the swingers, and I'm not a churchgoer either. For me, this is a 4.
It's so close to going 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I would have just been singing it for the rest of this video.
And that's why it's a 4. Laurakojapjeva is up next with NPC. Isaac.
Yeah, this is a good song. This is definitely the kind of stuff that I listen to generally. I'm just concerned about the fact that the riff in the chorus has been done in a million other songs that are already successful. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now, but there are so many songs that use the exact same riff in the chorus. For a song that's called NPC, I kind of thought there was going to be more of a concept in the music video. I was expecting like something a bit more wacky or quirky. But I reckon that'll happen on stage. There'll be some kind of concept because NPC is such a term people use nowadays, even outside of like gaming. Yeah, I think if they amp up the production of this live, it will do pretty well. Doesn't seem to be as popular as I thought it would be. This is the kind of thing people usually like, is it not? I'm surprised. It's catchy, it's fun, but yeah, I like this. Good song.
This is my winner for sure. I loved it since the moment I heard it. I think it's very fun, very quirky, and I love the MV. I don't know, there's something about that wackiness, about the rhythm, the brain rot, everything just lines up to be the perfect entry for me. I do think that a lot of people will like it, and I think that if this goes viral on TikTok at some point, which I think will do because it has all the ingredients to do so, I think she has a very high chance to win. She is very strong competition.
Yeah, it's that very specific genre of happy hardcore that does very well on TikTok, like to the annoyance of some. But yeah, I see what you mean.
Some very positive comments about this one. Let's put that into points. Isaac.
7.
Joe.
I've given this a 9.
I give this a 7. Bea.
Yeah, this is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Nice. That is 33 points for Laurakojapjeva, and that ties her with Nipplepeople in first place. All right, next up we have Magazin. Well, I mean, Magazin, they're the biggest name in this competition, easily, by far. And the way I see it, like, there's drama here, and then here is the music of the Hulic family. I had my suspicions, to be honest, that Magazin are going to be back in Dora this year because they changed their lead singer towards the end of last year, and their new singer is Lorena Buchan, who competed a couple of times in Dora as well. Her most memorable entry, at least to me, was Tower of Babylon, which was also written by the Hulic family. But anyways, back to this song. This song right now is my favorite song of this entire national final season. Like, I didn't think that Magazin would be able to top their 2005 Dora entry Nazareth, but in my view, they did it. I'll turn a blind eye to the lyrics for now, as that can be and it should be rewritten, especially due to some grammar errors in it. And that is literally like the only bad thing I can say about this. It's, for me, as powerful as any song will get for me. And it's so dramatic and it's so powerful. And I'm 100% sure that Lorena is going to kill it on stage because she actually has the voice for it as well. If anyone can do it, she can. They're also, like, as I mentioned before, they're the most well-known act in Dora, so they are the ones to beat. And if they win, I'm surely going to be Croatia's #1 fan in Switzerland.
You see, this is what I thought Animal was going to be, because
Oh
now
God,
I'm
no.
gonna absolutely, like, you're up here. You're right on the diving board. I'm like having an ice cream in the cafe. I am not going anywhere near this one. I'm sorry. In the context of this, it's not a bad song, like, but it's not amazing. Like, in the context of this show, that means it's pretty near the bottom of my list, unfortunately. I think the joke I was going to make, which I think about 2 people are going to get, is that this is a song about Andouillette lovers. But I will leave that at the side. You know my sentiment about members of the same family writing a song. I could never work with my family. I don't know why these people can. If you like this genre of goth rock, which Irving clearly does, it's quite reminiscent of, Evanescence. It's right up your street. To me, it slightly creeps me out. Like, it's like having the children's choir over the top of it, like anything with sort of coven-like chant-like choruses done by kids. I think you have to get really right, otherwise it just comes. You have to be like Orgesa Zaimi from Festivali Kungas. That's really the only place I've seen that done right. It doesn't really go anywhere. The lyrics are quite by the numbers, and yes, it is full of errors and it is so jarring. There is room for a cracking stage performance, and I think that's what's going to bring me round to this. But I just don't think this is strong enough to follow Renton's hack again to stand out.
I just have to apologize to all the people who live in Budapest. Like, when I drive by and I listen to this song in my car, it's normally on full blast. And Joe, you can definitely expect this song in my car next time.
Yeah, because I can hear it from Bromley.
Anyways, let's score it out of 10. For me, this is the easiest 10 I've given all season. There.
Yeah, this is a 7 out of 10 for me. Curiously, it's not the first song called AaAaA that I like. It's the second one I've ever
He
heard in
keeps
my life.
track.
Yeah. And I love the sinister feeling and I love the aura. And, as a horror fan, this really, really caters to me. So I hope it does very, very well.
Isaac?
Yeah, if you want a good kids choir, go to Mr. Rain. First time I've mentioned him this year, but yeah. This is okay. It's a 6.
And Joe?
I've given half of what Irvin's given. I'm giving this a 5.
You'll be running after the car, Joe. 28 points for Magazin.
I'm going to be towed like on the back, like he's going to winch me to the back or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
We got to our last act of the day, and that is going to be Natalli with Dom si srcu mom. Joe?
So, I mean, again, we're in Croatia. We're going to get a lot of like traditionally coded ballads like this one. This is, you could make comparisons to so many songs that have come before in Dora that have included that sort of very specific style of ethereal, choral bridge that sort of cuts through the haze. Like literally, if you've seen the music video, there's strings, there's drums, there's a cappella bits at one point. You know, it's everything I expect from Croatia, like the era of Croatia I was growing up with in Eurovision. It should get to the final. Top 10, I think, seems very sensible for this one. Oh, and one of the writers co-wrote Hajde da Ljubljujemo, which is the greatest Balkan song of all time. So that's worth at least 2 points in my book.
Honestly, I thought it sounded more like the kind of thing you get in Serbia. It's like you say, this sounds like 1,000 songs we've had before, and I think that's my main problem with this. It's not a bad song, but it's not got a single original idea in it from the start to the end. It doesn't do anything I haven't heard before, and that's the biggest problem with it. Yeah, I've really not got much to say on this one. I think it's just there, and it will do okay.
Last song out of 10. Joe.
I've given this an 8.
I gave it 1 less, 7. Bea?
You know, this is going to be a 5 for me. It's just another stereotypical ballad.
Isaac?
Yeah, this is the definition of a 5.
25 points for Natalli, which means that we ended up with 2 winners. Laurakojapjeva and Nipplepeople, as they scored 33 points each. Luka Nižetić is in 3rd place with 31, and Ogenj and Ivxn complete our top 5. Guys, who are you most looking forward to seeing in Dora, and like who do you have very high expectations from?
Well, I think after that spiel you've given about Magazin, I want to like it a lot more than I do at the moment. And I think the same can be said for EOT. You know, there's no reason I'm scoring these songs so low, but I think the key with this selection is it has to stand out and it has to be authentic. It has to be something I've never heard before, because there are about 10 or 11 songs that are just completely Nipplepeople levels of unique. And, you know, we all know that we're going to be intrigued for them, but like I'm looking at the sort of the rockier ones, because like if one of them stands out, that could win.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few here I'm looking forward to seeing, to be honest. Luka is probably the one I'm most interested to see live, just based on the music video. I'm hoping that we bring the same concept to the stage. Obviously, Ivxn, going to be great. But Nipplepeople, yeah, who knows? Who knows what that's going to be like?
Yeah, I'm very, very interested to see what Matt Shaft and Marko Bosniak are going to bring to stage. But of course, Laurakojapjeva is within my heart, and I really, really hope to see her having fun on stage. And yeah, I also want to see Irma. I'm very, very curious to see what she will bring on stage. And of course, Nipplepeople. That is going to be a very interesting act to witness as well.
My top 2 that I most look forward to seeing are, well, first of all, obviously Magazin, and secondly, Nipplepeople. And apart from them, I'm really intrigued to see what Ananda does on stage, as well as I still think that like if she does like a proper nice staging and suits the song, that she could do really well as well. But Magazin, number 1. Thank you all for watching. Let us know in the comment section down below whether you agree, whether you disagree with us, and also tell us who your personal favorites are and which acts you're most looking forward to seeing in this year's Dora. And also subscribe to our channel to be completely up to date with all of our upcoming videos. There's going to be a whole bunch of national final artist interviews, as well as some other review videos, and also some other material that we're preparing for you during this Eurovision season. Thanks, Joe, Isaac, and Bea for joining me. And we're going to see all of you with our next review video very soon. Bye, everyone.
Stay swingers.